Good morning, Barry Bryson here. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. We're continuing our study of the Gospel of Luke. We're in chapter 6. We're going to look at verses 17 through 19 today. We introduced the Sermon on the Plain yesterday, and we're going to get into the text today. And verses 17 through 19 is the setting for the sermon. So in Matthew chapter 5, in the Sermon on the Mount, we have a setting as well. And it's quite formalized. There are 5 major sermons of Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew, as there are 5 books of law. And 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 in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus goes up on the mount the way Moses went up on the mount. And when Jesus sits down to deliver the word of God, sitting down, sitting in Moses' seat, sitting down as a teacher of God's people, he starts by giving them a list. As Moses came down from the mountain and delivered a list on 2 tablets of stone, Moses brought down commands. But Jesus gives them blessings, beatitudes, blessings. Um, so there's a very real sense, and we have this at the beginning of the sermon as well, Sermon on the Mount, that Jesus has come to fulfill the law, that now we fulfilled this and something new is about to happen. And so it's much more broadly theological, whereas this is much more directly personal, this sermon in. Jesus is not going up on the mountain, he's coming down from the mountain after having chosen his apostles. And here's the setting. Chapter 6, verses 17 through 19. He descended with them, the apostles, and stood on a level place, and there was a great multitude of his disciples, and a great throng of people from all Judea and Jerusalem and the coastal region of Tyre and Sidon, who had come to hear him and to be healed of their diseases. And those who were troubled with unclean spirits were being cured, and all the multitude were trying to touch him, for power was coming from him and healing them all. Okay. Let's compare and contrast a little more. This is the same thing as what happens in the Sermon on the Mount. We have Jesus' disciples, and they are surrounded by people in the world. So we have the greater crowd of people who are not necessarily disciples, but who have come to be healed, come to see what's going on. And so we have that in Matthew as well. We have the multitudes. Jesus pulls his disciples out of the multitudes. He sits in the middle, and then he starts to deliver his message, which is delivered to his people in the midst of the world. And that's exactly what he's doing here too. So in that way, it's the same. But look at how personalized this account is. We get some details. It's not just that there was a multitude there, but where were they from? Well, he's in Galilee. They come all the way from Jerusalem and Judea in the south. So we've got Jews from Judea. I mean, not Jews from Galilee who live alongside Gentiles. We've got Jews from Judea. I mean, the genuine article. And then we also have people from Tyre and Sidon. Phoenicians have come down. They're not Jewish at all. And they've all come, and they've come to hear, and they've come to be healed. And there is healing taking place. We don't have that with the Sermon on the Mount either. And we get this detail about Jesus, which we're going to get again when we talk about the episode of the raising of Jairus's daughter and the healing of the woman with the hemorrhaging. That when Jesus healed someone, there was a palpable experience of power leaving him and entering someone else. And so later on, Jesus is going to say, "Who touched me?" Because he felt the power go out of him whenever the woman snuck up and touched the tassel of his prayer shawl. He felt the power go out. He felt her faith access his healing power. And he said, "Who touched me?" So there is a physical sensation to the healing miracles that Jesus performs, and it had to be exhausting. It just did. Um, I don't care what physical sensation you have. If you have it too much and for too long a duration, it's going to become painful, and it's going to become tiresome. And There must have been such a physical toll day by day. He must have been absolutely spent with exhaustion at the end of every day. Okay. Um, that's what we wanted to do as we introduce the crowds. I think we can see from the very beginning that the setting, although it is identical in that Jesus is speaking to his disciples in the midst of the greater world. And we need to continue to keep that in mind as we listen to his teaching in the Sermon on the Plain. Same thing was true for the Sermon on the Mount. We're already seeing that the setting is a little different, and we have more detail, and it's more directly personal and less broadly theological than the Sermon on the Mount is. Okay, we're going to pick up with verse 20 next time. Thank you so much for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.